Hi, everyone. My name is Chris Barton.
And I'm Jennifer Ziegler.
We both write books for young people, and we love talking with other authors of books for young people about the dedications in their books. That's what this one's dedicated to is all about. Today, we're talking with our friend Deborah Underwood about the dedication she wrote in her book, Outside In, illustrated by Caldecott honoree Cindy Derby. Hello, Deb.
Hey, so nice to see you both. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So to get us started, would you mind reading aloud the dedication?
I would be delighted to. It is short and sweet. It says, "For Kate."
Very short and sweet.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about your relationship with Kate, who Kate is, and why the book is dedicated to her?
Yes, Kate is Kate O'Sullivan, who is the editor for Outside In, but she has also played a role in my career over these many years. When I started writing for kids in 2001, I wrote a whole lot of crummy picture books that got rejected. But Kate actually gave me, I believe, my very first good rejection back in 2002 or 2003. So the writers among you all will know that a good rejection is, instead of just getting a form letter, "We don't want this," it's like a personal, "I like some things about this story, and if you would like to send me more of your work, please do." So that was a huge step in my development as a writer. And I did. I kept sending her things. I probably sent her 3 or 4 manuscripts and continued to get good rejections. And then finally, in I think 2007, I sent her The Quiet Book, and she bought that. And then that was the beginning of a string of books that I got to do with her: The Quiet Book, The Loud Book, The Christmas Quiet Book, Monster and Mouse Go Camping, Bad Bye Goodbye, and finally Outside In. So she played a really fundamental role in my career.
Did you recognize at the time that you got that good rejection? Did you recognize that there was something special about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because I had gotten just so many the form letters, or like never even hearing back from people, but so to actually have somebody, I think I probably even like smudged the signature to make sure it was like, no, a real person actually touched this letter and signed it. So it was really encouraging. And the thing that's kind of funny is it was for the story Granny Gomez and Jigsaw, which I had been trying to sell as an easy reader. And she wrote back and said, have you considered making it a picture book? Which I should have just dropped everything and done and maybe sold to her. But instead I was like, no, I want to make it an easy reader. And ultimately it sold to another publisher. And the first thing they said was, you need to make this a picture book. So I was like, okay, so I just should always listen to Kate all of the time. That was my first lesson with that.
Well, at what point in making Outside In did you realize that you were going to dedicate it to Kate?
Well, you know what? It had felt like a Kate book from the beginning. And it's partly because I actually got the idea for it in, I think it was 2015 when the ALA conference was in San Francisco. So I went to that and I actually got to meet with Kate for only the second time. I think we've only seen each other in person twice. And she and I had lunch and had a lovely time, just kind of, I think, generally talking about possible book ideas. And then at a point during the conference, as you both know, I'm an introvert and I was kind of overwhelmed. So I took a walk away from the convention center just to clear my head. And there was this beautiful old church and the door was cracked open. And so I looked inside and it was open for people to just go in there. So I just went inside and sat in a pew and took a few breaths and just sat there in the quiet. And as I was there, a bird flew overhead and called out, I think it was a seagull. And it just really struck me that I could be sitting in this human-made brick stained glass structure that had been there for more than 100 years, and that nature could still kind of come in and reach me while I was sitting there. And that was the kernel of the inspiration for the book.
Kate is a fairly common name. Have you ever dedicated a book to someone and had them assume it was dedicated to somebody else with the same name, or incorrectly assume that the book was dedicated to them when in fact it was a different person?
No, not that I know of, but it was funny because I have a book that's coming out that I've dedicated to my friend Susan Gall, who's a wonderful illustrator, who actually dedicated one of her books to Bella and me. But as I was just saying to Susan, I was like, I have a lot of people I know named Susan, and maybe they'll all think the book's for them. And that just pick the most common name, right? And make as many people happy as you can. So,
All the Susans.
yep.
To you, Susan, only you.
Yes, you know who you are. I have, honestly, I think like some of my books, I've just like, to everybody, to everyone in the world, to whatever, to everyone who has a dream. I mean, they've gotten from very specific to like, okay, because with picture books, I mean, I'm on like 20 whatevereth, and the first thing you think of is like critique friends or kids in your life, and it's like, all right, I'm out of relatives, I'm out of critique friends. So I seriously, an editor just asked me for a dedication. I was like, I could just say for Ichabod and nobody would ever know and nobody would ever care. For Ichabod and Xander, with love from Auntie Deborah. So
Your imaginary friends.
yeah.
Someone come along and say, so how did Ichabod find out the book was dedicated to them?
Yeah, I can't even tell you. It's just, he was overwhelmed. He was just overwhelmed. That's funny. My sister had an imaginary friend named Golo when she was a kid. So maybe I should do the next book to Golo. So that would be good.
How did Kate find out that the book was dedicated to her? It's hard to make it a surprise to an editor.
It is. I guess you would have to say it's for Kate, my third cousin, and then when the book comes out, go, ha ha, no, it's really for you. So.
Is there someone else at the publishing house I can tell my dedication to?
Yes. Can you just plug your ears on the email and go la 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 la?